Good evening and welcome to our virtual open house for WLTL Radio Management. My name is Chris Thomas. I'm the faculty advisor and general manager of WLTL Radio and, of course, the instructor for the WLTL Radio Management class. I'm so glad you could join us tonight. I know I've met a few of you in person before at WLTL and LT events, and I hope to meet all of you at some point because I want to thank you for allowing your sons and daughters to take this class. This class is a huge undertaking. It is maybe feeling like even a bigger undertaking due to the pandemic, but I really appreciate you allowing your sons and daughters to sign up for this class and fit it into their schedules, because I think now more than ever with the pandemic, having a class like this is a real benefit to the students. They have something that is creative outlet and that they are passionate about. And I would say all of our managers are very passionate about this class. I'm recording this at the WLTL studios, as you can see behind me, but obviously we're doing remote learning right now. And the first thing I want to kind of address is the fact that while we're doing remote learning may seem like a detriment, and of course we much rather be in person, the big takeaway from this is your students and myself are gaining some very real world experience right now, because a lot of what is being done in radio is being done remotely from our houses. In fact, I am doing all of it mostly remotely from our houses. I came in to record this, but let me show you what I'm actually working with at my house. All right, so here we are at my house now, and as you can see on my screen, we got the same screen at the radio station, because that is exactly the same screen as the radio station. We just remote broadcast from our homes, and your students will have this opportunity as well. Now, I've got myself a microphone and a mixing board here. Your students don't necessarily will have that, but they will have an app on their smartphones, and they'll be able to actually broadcast from their houses. So while, of course, it's not the exact same as it would be if we were in person, it's relatively close. And like I said before, a very real-world example of what's happening in radio right now, because a lot of radio professionals are indeed broadcasting from their homes. And this is not only something that needs to be done because it's a pandemic, but in my mind, it's actually a very good learning opportunity, because it is what the students would experience if they were working in radio right now. So as you can see, radio is remote at the moment, and that's the cool part about radio. Nobody knows when they're listening to us. It doesn't really matter where we are, as long as we sound professional and sound good. And at WLTL, with the way our students treat this radio station and the training that we give them, sounding good and sounding professional, not to brag, is not a problem here at WLTL, because we have some outstanding students who just do fabulous work for us, including in our radio management class. A little bit about the course. You could check out all the syllabus and all the information online on our Canvas page. If you're not an observer of your student on Canvas, I really encourage you to do that so you can see what work is being assigned there and what they're doing. And then also you have access to the syllabus and things like that. If you need help getting that set up, reach out to the LT help desk or to the Discovery Centers or myself as well, and I'll give you my contact information in a few minutes. But the big things I want you to know about the class is what has changed because of the pandemic, and my kind of grading policy and philosophy. To be quite honest with you, not much has changed because of the pandemic. Of course, I'd rather be in person, as I said, and I know your students would as well, but the projects and things we do are really not being adapted for the pandemic. What is being adapted is how we approach them. We're still doing recordings. We're still going live on air. Your students are still have a job as a manager and have a department to run. They're just learning how to do it remotely. And again, that is some very real world experience right now, because a lot of what's happening in radio and media in general is being done remotely. Grading policy and philosophy that I need you to be aware of, and I hope your students are aware of as well. I know I've shared it with them, but please share it with them again. Very few times in radio do you have to do something live and then you never get a chance to redo it. Maybe live newscast, maybe live sports, but even then you get a chance to redo it, because the next time you get a chance to redo it. All of the projects we do in here, everything we do in here, I will let them do again, and they could do again and revise and get feedback and get better at it and improve their grade. There is truly no reason why a student shouldn't walk away with an A in this class, even if they get a C on every project, because they should take that C, take our feedback from both their peers and myself, and turn it into an A by the time they're done reevaluating and redoing and turning that project back in. Very few times in radio is the product one and done. Most of the time you get feedback in the professional world, and that is the same here in the high school world. So please encourage your students, if they don't have the grade they like, or maybe they felt a little uncomfortable with a project they made, that they just don't know quite what's wrong with it, have them turn it in. Let them turn it in. Let me listen to it. Let our peers listen to it. Let's give them some feedback, and then let's have them do it again and get better and grow. I love it when my students fail. Now, I don't love it when they fail the class, and that very rarely happens. But I love it when they fail a project because you learn so much more from a failure. You're able to evaluate and get better. So please encourage your students to take advantage of that they get a chance to revise and get a better grade. And it's not always about the grade, and it shouldn't be about the grade. It should be about learning and wanting to get better at the skill. And if your students are in the radio management class, they already want to be here. So I know they want to get better at it too. So encourage them to make sure that they know they can redo any project at any time in this class. And you and I and they will all be amazed at how much they grow over the course of this year with us. If you're wondering about myself, how did I get into this mess of teaching WLTL? This is my 16th year here at Lyons Township High School as a teacher. It's my 20th year overall because I went here. I graduated in 1997. I did WLTL all 4 years while I was here. And in fact, I was a student radio manager my junior and senior year, like your students are. So my life has truly come full circle as I'm back here working now. Once I graduated LT, I went off to college in Iowa at a really small school called Wartburg, which I'm guessing most of you have not heard of. 1,400 students or so, but I loved LT, but LT was too big for me. I wanted to go to a smaller school. So I went to a school that was really small, but I was able to get hands-on in my major right away. And not only in my major, but I started working professionally in radio because of the training I had at WLTL. Within 3 weeks of being at college, I was an evening DJ at a light rock station. As you can imagine, a 18-year-old college kid at a light rock station. I sold it well, but not enough. Definitely not my favorite music format I've ever worked in. I continued working in radio professionally during college and after. I worked at a few different radio stations in Iowa. My journey took me to Tucson, Arizona, where I worked at a top 40 station in promotions, and finally back home here to Chicago, where I was a producer for ESPN Radio 1000 and the Chicago White Sox radio network, back when the White Sox used to be on AM 1000. And I got out of radio for a little while, and I went into PR and nonprofit fundraising, and then I ended up here. And as it turns out, you never know where life is going to take you, but it was the perfect journey. My radio experience, along with my PR experience, along with my nonprofit fundraising experience, have really been just really the ideal background of what I need here at WLTL. It kind of encompasses all that we do. So I wouldn't trade my experiences for the world. I'm so happy to be here. I love my job. I love doing this every day and working with the student managers and everybody at the radio station. It is my sincere hope that we get to be back in person sooner rather than later, either through hybrid learning or even small groups coming into the radio station to work. So keep your eyes out for that. When it's deemed safe enough, we will be having student groups come in here and do work. And eventually, hopefully, we'll be doing hybrid learning as well. If you have any questions about the class, about your student's job or performance, or just I need to know something about your student that maybe I don't know, please reach out to me. The best way to reach out to me is probably email. And you could do that at cthomas@lths.net. And again, that's cthomas@lths.net. And I've got that up on the screen for you as well. I am more than happy to have a phone call with you, but because of Zoom teaching and I'm working at home and here sometimes, I never know where I'm going to be. So if you'd like to have a phone call with me, the best thing to do is probably start with an email and let me know you'd like to have a phone call. Instead of playing phone tag, we'll play email tag, hammer down a time, and then I'll give you a call and we could talk anything you want to talk about with your students and anything that I need to know about them or you need to know about me. Again, thank you so much for allowing your students and working with your students to get them into the radio management class. I really, truly appreciate it. I know they do as well. It's going to be a great semester. It's going to be a weird semester, but it's also going to be a very real-to-life semester as well. So again, reach out with any questions, cthomas@lths.net. Otherwise, I'm really looking forward to the rest of the year working with the radio managers, and I hope to meet some of you, if not all of you, in person sooner rather than later once it's safe to do so. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening.